Hey, you've been specially chosen to receive some really important advanced news. Not only are you going to get a sneak preview, but you'll be getting strategies, tips and techniques on some of the coolest new moves in Street Fighter II Turbo and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fat and Fresh. I'm your host, Rosaro. Joining me is Jonah Oversol, and we've been pushing this off for a while. I've been meaning to do all of this for a minute. From like
it's been marinating for a bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember if it was like pre-KO or post-KO, but we joked about it, and I'm not a huge fan of podcasts as a concept, so I was like, well, we have to do something different, like at least a little bit. You know what I mean? So I thought if we're gonna do this, we should do more than just like talk about video games, you and I, and figured what's the best way to go about it other than just to highlight some people in the scene. And so today we're going to start with our very own Oversol, and let's start simple. Jonah, how long have you been in the scene?
Like in the fighting scene or like just the local scene?
Let's start with the local scene, because I imagine it's been shorter.
Yeah. Oh God. I guess when I first like got into the WGC like 2012, 2013, around there. I was barely into. I remember like I was always casually into fighting games, so I think at the time I was playing BlazBlue like casually, and then we used to be at this spot called the Burrow, for like a card game called Vanguard. And so we would always hang out there, and like an OG member, I won't name his name, but an OG member like popped in one day, and he's like, "Hey, we want to have like fighting game tournaments here in this place." And like we got to talking. They got a PS3 set up on the TV they had there, and he was always the kind of guy to like hella shit talk and be like, "All right, who's next? Like I'll be whoever, whatever." And I was like, "Oh, I'm a good BlazBlue player. I'll just fucking play him." I played him. I got washed. I was so fucking bad. And then I was like, all right, fine. And like out of spite, I like joined full time. Like I dropped my card game entirely. I sold everything and like bought an arcade stick and like immediately like jumped back into it. And we didn't really have like a BlazBlue scene until like later, but at the time KOF 13 was like the hot thing. So started learning KOF, and been with them, been here in the like old local scene since then. So yeah, 2013 was.
How 2013? So that's like fucking 13 years now, yeah?
Yeah, holy shit. I just realized that.
Jesus, yeah, I didn't even like saying that. That didn't feel right. Yeah, fair. Well, yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to start off with, because like at least from my perspective, right? Because I've only been in the scene for about it's going to be like 2 years here pretty soon. I think here in February. And, I've been a lurker for a while. Like I'm sure both of us have been into fighting games relatively for longer than we've been competing. So like, I'm curious, I guess, because at least now we've sort of we're in an era of like visibility, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, if you want to make a name for yourself, not just necessarily in competing, but I just mean like just as a poster, right? Discord makes it pretty easy, right? Like now more than ever, you're able to just kind of sit down on your keyboard, and you don't even really have to play a fighting game to be like notable in your community. Like Davin's a good example of that. We'll get into him. Yeah, and we'll get into him later. But I think it's interesting because you and I probably have different perspectives of what it was like pre-Discord, right? Because 2013 Discord wasn't active until like 2016, more or less.
Yeah, later, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think we both have this interesting perspective of like what fighting games were before that. Even like I said, like I wasn't competing then. I was still playing Ash, I think, but still casually. But let's go back a bit because I think people, regardless of how long they've known you through the WFGC, I think people have a very what I would call not shallow, but maybe a one-sided perspective. I like to think of you as like a hexagonal man. You know what I mean? Like I think you're a lot more multifaceted than I think people give you credit. And so I wanted to start with, current times because like most of the people watching this are going to be familiar with you as you are now. So let's go back before your opinions about Ava, before your opinions about food, and your opinions about Tekken 8. Where did it start? How did you get into fighting games? Not just competitively, but like when was the first time you saw like two dudes beating each other up and you're like, that's interesting?
So I largely credit my dad for being the cause of this. I remember it's like super vivid memory. Like I was like 4 or 5, whatever. And like you're Hispanic, you know how like the family gatherings go. We usually like go to an aunt's or uncle's place, and we all just like fuck around, and everyone kind of
Yup.
like segregates each other to like their own little areas or whatever. And like my aunt, she had a old school SNES in her one of her rooms because my uncle was like really into gaming back then, and so like all the kids like we're there. Dad like pops in to check in, and he's like, "Oh shit, they have like a fucking Super Nintendo," and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And he's like, here, let me show you. So he like looks around, he finds a cartridge for Street Fighter 2, pops it in, and he gives me a controller and he's like, here, pick whoever you want. And I was like, okay. And like the game starts, like I'm already like blown away by the start graphics and everything. And he picks Ryu because he's really basic. And I pick Blanca because he looked cool, like big scary green
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah. And he taught me how to do a Blanca ball. And like that's all I did. It was just like
Wow. Okay.
low short, like Blanca ball, and like it was super fun. And obviously, like as my dad, he let me beat him a few times and then he kicked my ass. But that was like my first like, holy shit, this is awesome. I love this. I don't even know, like I want this, like whatever it is. And then later that year, my parents got saved up enough money. They got me a SNES, and that SNES came prepackaged with KI, which was like the black cartridge, which was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And I grinded the hell out of that game. My main was Cinder because like cool fire guy. But yeah, I remember like I grinded the hell out of it. I beat Idol. Like I learned all the hyper combos and everything. And like yeah,
Damn.
my dad was like really worried for me because he's like all he's doing is playing this, and like he knows how to do like all the fucking inputs and shit. And yeah, I was like a little fucking demon, and like that was like where it started. And like ever since then, fighting games have always been like one of my things. It's funny because like I remember I was in middle school and I was like a teacher assistant or whatever. And like when during downtime, like there wasn't anything to do. He had like a stack of like Game Informer magazines, and so I'd read those, and I'd be like, "Oh, dude, this is
Nice.
cool." And like the new Mortal Kombat would come out and things like that, and I'd be like, "Oh, dude, this game is gonna be so cool." And he's like, "Fighting games, like you need friends for those." And I always thought that was a little weird because I was like, "Why would you not have friends to play fighting games with?" But he was like really big into like COD and shit because like that's when like Modern Warfare 2 and all that were like really big.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I always find it weird that like people like nobody else was like really into fighting games besides like me and a couple other people. But like, yeah, no, that's where it started.
So, how old were you when you first started getting into when you played Street Fighter 2? How old were you?
I was like 5 at the time, yeah, like
5.
super young.
Okay. So, like you were in it for a minute. Okay, and then when you got KI, how old were you?
Okay, it was later that year. I was like 5 or 6.
Okay.
And then yeah, I just like kept grinding it, and obviously like there's a lot more to it. Like if I can get into it, like yeah, like KI was a thing, and then for a time we moved back to Mexico. That was kind of whatever. But like again with like Hispanic families and all that, you're like super communal. Like I'm always spending time with like aunts and uncles and whatever. They're usually like babysitting while mom and dad are working, whatever.
Right.
And thankfully, our family we always had like a game console somewhere. And so when the 64 came out, Smash was the big thing. And so I was really big in Smash. I would always play with my cousins. Um, and then eventually the GameCube came out. We got Melee. That was big. And then I remember coming back to the States. I was like super outdated. Like we ended up living with my aunt for a little bit, and they had a PS2. And I was like, when I got there, I was like, okay, where's your 64? I want to play some Nintendo. And they're like, no, we got the Sony PS2. I was like, what the hell is that? They're like, just
Do
watch.
shit.
And they booted up Tekken Tag because it was again prepackaged game, and I was just like in love the moment I saw the intro for that, like Kazuya on the rooftop, like getting the demon form out and like all the fighting, like oh, it was so cool. And yeah,
Yeah.
like
No.
it was funny because like my aunt's like super religious, so like we'd play the game and like she would see Devil and she's like, you better not pick him. So I picked Devil every time because like she was like, you
Ooh,
can't pick
Devil
him.
Jin.
And then I would just fucking twin pistons people and like sunrise kicks and just beat my cousins all the time. And they're just like, God, okay, pick the non-devil character. And then I picked like Jin, and it was like the similar shit. And yeah, no, like it's been in my blood ever since. But yeah,
That's fair. And so like so you were intentionally doing these inputs, right? You weren't just like scrubbing the controller and getting them out. Like you
yeah,
were
no,
like, I know what this is. I'm doing this.
like from an early age, like my dad taught me how to do like fireballs and charge motions from the
Right.
get-go. So that was a big boon. And like whenever I played a new fighting game, I would just do the same thing. It's like, okay, let's try fireball. What does this do? Oh shit. Tekken was the first one where I didn't like none of that stuff worked. So that like blew my mind. And like thankfully I had training mode. And even back then, like training mode was kind of good because like a lot of people that don't know about Tekken, they look at the star input and they're like, what the fuck is star? Like, there's no star on the controller. And like, when you go into training mode, even back then, it said, star means let go or like don't do anything. And so I learned how to do like electrics as a young kid. Didn't do like perfect electrics, but like I knew the motions. And so I would do like a little bit of wave dashing and shit like that intentionally. And my
That's
cousins were
insane.
always like, what the fuck? But yeah, no, I was just like really, really into it. Like, it was just that one thing that I hyper focused on. It was always fighting games.
That's interesting. Okay, so fighting games weren't like a passive interest in the sense that like, some people will just play like a game a lot because it's the only game they have, right? Like you went out of your way to spend time in finding fighting games, right? Like did you start like because obviously with like Hispanic families it really is just like who has what, right?
Yeah.
So like did you start seeking them out any point, like when you had funds? Was this something that you just did casually in the background? Or well, I guess how do you go from playing fighting games just with your cousins to like wanting to start grinding them out?
It was always like the favorite thing, like just and like people who are like super close to me know this about me. Like I have a huge ego and I love being like better than other people at certain things. So like that definitely kicked into it. And like I would always be like the better one in my family. Like out of all my cousins, I was always with like the good fighting game player, right?
Hmm.
So like just kind of like chasing that dopamine rush, I guess, was like the big motivator. But I genuinely like enjoyed fighting games like out of any other thing. Because of course we had like Super Mario Party, racing games, yada yada. But fighting games was
Yeah,
always like my shit. Like I would love to fucking play that. So like when I started gaining funds like to get my own stuff, or like when I had like mom would be like, okay, you get 2 games this Christmas, like pick one and then let me know whatever. I'd always get like Dragon Ball Tenkaichi Budokai 3 and like Tekken 5,
fair. Yeah,
right? And
staple.
so yeah, right. Like I always get like the fighting games and like I'd beat up my brothers, but they'd get bored of it. And like thankfully back then fighting games were like super feature rich. Like
Yeah,
Tekken was its own thing. Like I grinded the fuck out of it. But Tekken had like specifically Tekken 5. It had like the Devil Within, the single player mode. It had a bunch of
that was
customization.
sick.
That was so fucking good. God. And then like eventually I got into Soul Calibur, and like Soul Calibur 3 has like a full ass like campaign mode where you make a character and you go on like a war campaign. It was so fucking cool. And I spent like hours and hours and hours on that. So yeah, like fighting games were always like the thing I would chase, but thankfully like they're also like so feature rich back then that like it made it kind of worth it. But obviously like that waned
Okay.
in the most recent years and all that.
Right, and we'll definitely get to that. Yeah, no, that's super interesting. I think it's kind of worth saying that this is all genuinely new to me. Like I've only been in the scene for like the last 2 years, so like don't know why you guys are freaks. You know what I mean? Like I think
Yeah,
there's something wrong that happened in our upbringing that sort of like made us choose this path, right?
for sure, for sure.
And so like like I definitely understand where you're coming from. I think it's funny. I actually also had Ki on the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
So like that was like one of the first fighting games I played. But yeah, no, I mean like I think it's interesting because at least for me, I didn't own any fighting games. I always went to cousins' places who had them, right? My first instance was Tekken Tag on the PS2, right? So like I saw like the intro cutscene. I can't remember which Tekken it was, but it was the one where like Heihachi is like getting pinned down by all the jacks.
Oh, it's 5. Yeah.
5, yeah. And I remember like thinking, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? And like I actually never saw the 2-player mode because they were just like doing all the other shit. Like it was always customizing. Like I said, I didn't own them, right?
Yeah.
But at least for me, I don't know about you. I would love to hear if that was the case. But you know, you and I are old, but we're not so old that we probably remember arcades that well. I think we each probably have our own history with them, but I think to kind of give perspective, at least for me, what made me think like, you know, fighting games is something I want to put time into is like there's Smash Bros, and like I'll definitely get to that in a second. But I think the first traditional fighting game I played was a cab of Guilty Gear. It was in a game store that was right next to a shop that my parents owned, and I would always go in there and just like, wow, what's this loud ass arcade cabinet? Because Guilty Gear's arcade cab is loud as hell.
Yeah.
And so I remember seeing that, and like for the most part, I would always try to find fighting game cabs. Like the one arcade, I guess you could call it, where I grew up was a Soul Calibur cabinet, and that was like one of the few games that I played consistently just to kind of get a feel for it. Now, at least with fighting games, I definitely didn't start with fighting games. Like I started with Smash, but what's your relationship with arcades, right? Because I actually don't know how old you are. Like I have an idea based on like the Unk stories you've told, but like sure. What did that look like to you? Do you have any experience with that kind of thing? I know in the motherland, arcade cabinets are still pretty prominent. So like what's that like for you?
Yeah. So early on, yeah, like my dad's always been like the fighting game source guy. Like got me into Street Fighter. He bought me my first console with the game and all that. But also like every now and then, he would save up some money. We'd go to like the local mall arcade. There's a lot more back then than there are now, obviously. But yeah, we would just like go to the arcade and like watch a movie afterwards. But it was always like go to the arcade, play some Street Fighter, play some MK3 with the Quan Chi cabinet and all that. And
Classic.
yeah, and there's also at least here in town, there was, I think it's closed down now, but there's this laundromat like on the west side that we would always went go to. And so while I'm waiting for my clothes to get washed as like a fucking 10-year-old, whatever, they have like a little nook where it had like arcade machines, and you'd have like MK3 Ultra, Street Fighter, just the classics there. And so mom would give me a stack of quarters, and I would just go there, waste time, and yeah, just do that. So it was always like prevalent. But like when it comes to like the arcade culture of like having to like get good to like make the most use out of your money and all that shit, I never really experienced that. It was a lot more casual, just like go to the arcade with family, play some games here and there, and then just kind of go from there.
Yeah, that's fair. And like at least for me, I mentioned the game store earlier. The game store didn't have it on display for like the sake of like running it. They were trying to sell it. So like getting someone to do head to head was like pretty much impossible, at least where I grew up. The Soul Calibur cabinet was like at like an arcade amusement park sort of thing. So like there were some people who were doing it, but like, you know, it wasn't the culture for that kind of thing to like impose yourself on to be like, hey, let me play against you. Like there's definitely people doing it. But yeah, no, I think that's interesting because you and I are, you know, not pre-internet in the like the traditional sense of like early 90s, that kind of thing, but like, you know, early 2000s, you know, it was weird. Yeah, it was different. Fucking Xbox Live, PlayStation Network kind of thing. And so what would you say is the game you first started to take like super seriously? Like maybe pre-competition, or maybe it was related to competition. Like what was the first game that you sat down and was like, you know, I'm playing this against other people, not just family?
So this one's always like whenever anybody asks me this, it doesn't happen often, but it's always like a screwball or like a curveball answer. It's called Bleach Dark Souls. It's a DS fighting game for Bleach because if you don't know, I'm a huge Bleach fan. I love it. It's like my favorite anime. But so yeah, like basically it was a DS game. The cool thing about it was like you only needed one cartridge to play against somebody else who had like a DS just laying around because like the ad hoc play or whatever the hell.
Yeah, the download play.
Yeah, so like in high school, like at least in my high school, we had like a Yu-Gi-Oh table. It's like all the Yu-Gi-Oh players. So like we'd be there and play Yu-Gi-Oh whatever, and like eventually it just became like the nerd table. People would blame like if you weren't playing Yu-Gi-Oh, you'd like be playing on your DS or whatever the hell. So one day, one of the guys he brought in Bleach Dark Souls and he was playing, and like another guy was like, "Oh shit, like that looks cool. Like what the fuck? I got to get myself a copy." He's like, "Oh no, we could play like right now," and so they started playing. And then it became a thing where like it was like a four-player. It had like a four-player mode, so a bunch of us would just like play like a battle royale on that. And eventually I got a DS and I got my own copy and I learned Hitsugaya and I just did like these cool ass dragon combos. And it got to the point where like the moment I got it, I started like learning how the combo flow went and like learning gameplay. And I got like really, really good at it. I just started grinding because I wanted to be the best like at the table. And eventually I was,
Right.
but like that was like my first big like deep dive into fighting games of like, oh, I don't just like kind of spam the special moves. Like I actually have to think of like what they want to do, spacing, neutral, blah blah blah. I even joined like game facts forums to like get tips and advice on like how to get better at it and like learn combos and shit like that. Get like like tier list breakdowns and whatnot. So that
Damn,
was
you
like
were
the
in
first
it.
game, dude. I was in it. Yeah, that was like the first game that like motivated me to get like really good at it, and eventually got to the point like I feel like every like kind of casual fighting game players experiences where like you become the best and like people don't want to play against you anymore because they're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna lose. Like it's not fun anymore.
Yeah,
So I got
yeah,
to
of
that,
course.
but like after that kind of died down, I again on the GameFAQs forums they were hyping up Blaze Blue Calamity Trigger, and I was like, what is that? Whatever. Because like I played a little bit of Guilty Gear, but I didn't know about Blaze Blue until then. And like, oh yeah, like Guilty Gear hasn't had a new game, so this is like the spiritual successor. Look at this trailer,
Right.
and I watched the trailer, and it was like the most hype shot. Like the moment I saw Ragnar the Blood Edge, I fell in love. I was like, dude, this character looks so goddamn cool. Holy shit. And like looking at his combos, like the little demos they did, and I was like, okay, this is my shit. So I tracked down the English release. Thankfully, they were doing like one for Calamity Trigger, and I bought the special edition. I got into that. And the thing about the special edition is like not only did it come with like the game and like some artwork and all that, it came with another DVD for your PS. I think it was PS3 at the time, where like pro players would break down combos and they'd be like, "This is what you want to do with this character. This
Mm.
is like his B and B. This is da da da." And so like I had that for every character. And funny enough, Mike Z was the guy that did the Tager breakdown. That like I knew about him before then because of that. But anyway, so like I studied that video, I studied that DVD like it was the fucking Bible for like Ragna and Jin shit. And yeah, that was like the hot thing. Like I would just like fuck, like I'm losing online. I'll go back and like go see what they're saying. It was like the same. It was like a 10-minute breakdown. It wasn't anything too deep, but yeah, like Blaze Blue and
So
then just grinding online for that.
okay, so yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. So this is PS3 era. So you're playing online now, right? Like you're
Yeah,
finding people like above your skill level, and you're like getting essentially the first dopamine hit of like getting your ass kicked, right?
pretty much. Yeah.
That's sick. Okay, yeah, and I think that's sort of like where most people start, right? Like obviously now before, but like with you and I, right? Like I think it definitely started at the bum table, right, with people playing card games and reading manga in public, because that was a shameful act back then,
Yeah, for sure.
and so like yeah, you really had to sort of like find people who even gave a shit. But the harder thing, especially I'm sure you've run into this, as you said, is the moment you're slightly better than someone, it's just not fun anymore, right? You
Yeah.
definitely find people who are not in it for the same like rush that you are, especially if they don't own the game, right? Because like if you're doing
Yeah.
download play, there's only so much you can really do. And so yeah, that's okay. That's sick. Yeah, I was curious about that. So you started with anime games, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
anime games were
like
like my big start. I didn't get into like traditional 2D fighters until I like joined the FGC. But yeah, anime games were like my shit. I would still probably be doing anime games even if I didn't like discover the local community. Just as like a
mm,
casual thing. But yeah.
interesting. Okay, then yeah. So when you started doing FGC events, because I imagine because you were on forums, right, at this point,
Mhm.
so you knew that people were fucked up and they wanted to play these games with like other people. were you playing games with other people on the forums, or were you just do like quick play randoms? Like, when did you start like gaining friends specifically because of this hobby?
So for Bleach, when I was still playing Bleach Dark Souls, I got two friends out of that because like I mean it was way back in the day, early internet. Not a lot of people were online anyway, but
Right.
I met this guy named Zach and this other guy who I can't remember his name, but he's kind of an asshole. But they would
Shut up.
like the shout outs. But like I met him on the GameFAQs forum and they're like, hey, join this Zat.com like chat server and we'll play like casuals and shit. I'll help you get better. And I was like, all right, bet. So I did that and like my weekly thing of like I just go to school, come back home, play like 3 hours of matches online in Bleach Dark Souls versus these two guys, and then just like go to bed and repeat for the most part. Um, and then eventually, like that kind of evolved into like the Blaze Blue thing, where I got into a different server for that. But yeah, it started off with like Dark Souls and just those two guys.
See, and that's what's interesting. And like, we'll get back into the FGC thing, but I actually do have a quick question for you.
Yeah,
Do you consider yourself like, I know it's a dirty word these days, but like, do you consider yourself a gamer, or do you feel like you just like fighting games as like
yeah.
a separate thing related to like your fucking Super Mario's and shit? Like, what other shit were you into, or was it really just like weeb fighting games? Like, what were you into around this time?
It was kind of that. Like those are the big things. Like it's always for me like the core like building blocks of like Jonah's personality have always been like weeb fighting. Well, okay, instead of fighting games, competitive games, anything competitive. But let's just
Okay.
say fighting games in this case. Um, yeah, weeb, competitive games, card games for sure, but that kind of got rolls into competitive as well. Um, and a lot of like RPGs, funny enough. I'll ever love RPGs, but that kind of ties on weeb as well. But basically, yeah, like, I don't really consider myself a gamer. Really, like, I only play competitive games. Like, it's always been like TCGs, which is always like one versus one typically. I'm playing for prizes. I'm playing for like a status, right, to be the best X player, or whatever. Fighting games, same thing.
Right.
I'm kind of just playing to be like good or notable or the best in this circle, whatever. Um, Eventually, I got into like League of Legends. Again, the same thing. I'm playing for the rank. I'm playing for the notoriety, whatever, being
Ooh.
better than X person.
Ugh.
Even when it came down to like me playing MMOs, like I would just do these things, like these challenges, like the hard fights, the ultimate fights, and things like that. Again, for like the status, because like whenever you beat one of these fights, you get like a title or like a super glowing weapon, and you just like wear that shit, and everyone, anytime you pass by somebody, they're like, oh shit, this guy did this like super hard challenge thing. So it's always been like about like status, I guess, but just competitive. Like I love competition by nature. I just love competing in
Mm.
general. So that's always been like the basis for my games. Like I rarely play games for personal enjoyment. Um, yeah, like if you ask any of my
Interesting.
close friends, like I struggle to play like a Zelda game. Even though I love Zelda, I struggle to like sit down and play it because like in the back of my mind, I'm like I could be competing against somebody and like getting something out of this, but inside I'm just like knocking down wood or whatever. So yeah.
So, this was like pretty popular at the time, PS3, Xbox 360 era. So, when you were playing something other than a fighting game, was it easier to sink in the time, like if the game had like say achievements, that kind of thing? Were you like an achievement hunter kind of person?
Funny enough, no. Like the achievements never really
Okay.
mattered to me. It was more so just like how would I put it? Yeah, just like the idea of somebody knowing that I beat them has always been like the driving factor. Whereas like an achievement,
Interesting.
like that's whatever. Like anybody, I guess the way I see it is like anybody can grind enough for an achievement, regardless of like who they are. But like when it comes to like being like a top player or like a good player in general for something, like that requires like like a different kind of like determination and like hard work, I guess.
Right.
So yeah, achievements have never really been like a thing for me. Even now, like I don't, they're just kind of annoying like when they pop up. But it's always been like for me like a status thing. Like I want people to see me as like a worthy opponent or whatever. In any community I'm in.
Right. So, okay. So, at this time, I imagine you kind of picked up sort of the hobbies you have now because you mentioned MMOs, right? Is that something that you started playing around the same time, like middle school, high school kind of thing?
Yeah. Again, my dad has been always like the the one at fault here, he brought a like late 2000s, like around 2007 or whatever. We got a home computer, and this was like the hot thing at the time. And I would just like roam around on like random pages. Like back then, it was like, okay, what cool websites do you know? Because it was so like early internet. It was really cool. But then like
Right.
around that time, like World of Warcraft was a thing, yada yada. I eventually convinced my parents to like get me a sub. Funny enough, like I started with World of Warcraft. I did the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, kind of did that, and then like as soon as Cataclysm came out, I swapped over to a weeb game called Ragnarok Online. Same thing, subscription model and all that. But yeah, that was like my big thing of just like these games and just like doing all the hard content. Because like at that time also like fighting games were in like a dark age. Like you'd have like the
Right.
occasional release, but like Soul Calibur 3 took a lot of my time up. Soul Calibur 4 was okay, but not as good. And then like after that, it was kind of like a dip. Like there's no new Street Fighter. The Mortal Kombats were kind of like asset reuses. Like it was around the time of like Armageddon and shit like that. And like
Right.
yeah, it was just kind of a dark time for them. So I kind of focused on MMOs during that time.
Gotcha. Okay. So MMOs, card games, I imagine was around this time too.
Yep.
Were you like straight into the like the crack pipe of Magic, or did you start normal like with Pokemon, or like what was kind of your journey with that sort of? Yeah, I know you're Hispanic, so it might have been Yu-Gi-Oh, but
Yeah,
like
it's definitely Yu-Gi-Oh.
what was that like? Okay,
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, of course.
I didn't really get into Pokemon until like recently, like in the last year. But Yu-Gi-Oh was like the thing. Yeah, like my cousins had Yu-Gi-Oh cards and we would play and we didn't know the fucking rules. But like eventually like I got just kind of competitive into everything and I learned how to play like proper Yu-Gi-Oh. And yeah, I would just like go to locals and all that. Um I would just like
Hmm.
I would like scrounge up a decent deck. And then from there it was always been like win locals, get some prize money or store credit, and then like save it to like buy better cards and then just kind of keep that cycle going. So for me, like, well, a lot of people like Justin Wong would tell you that like he got good at fighting games because he needed to. Like, if you wanted to play more fighting games, you had to be good. Save your quarters. For me, that's kind of how it was for card games. Or like, I had to be good at card games to get better cards to like keep winning and then keep that cycle going. So that was kind of like my
Yeah.
grind.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So that sort of checks out because I was wondering. Because like if you're not an achievement hunter sort of person and it is more of like a competitive aspect to you, I was curious if you're the type of person to set your own goals within like games. Because like I imagine like you said you have a hard time with single player games. So like what do you play when it's not an MMO or a like fighting game? Is there like a specific game that you have in mind that like you sunk time into that was like irregular, like maybe an RPG, a platformer? I know like some people have like different feelings with like different games, but like is there a game from like that time period or your childhood that sort of like really sticks out to you as like memorable?
Yeah, for sure. Kingdom Hearts 2, like by far, I'd probably say this is my favorite game of all time. It's just like something about it was just like so satisfying, even though it's kind of a ridiculous premise of like Disney characters in Final Fantasy. But I've always loved Final
Right.
Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts 2. I don't know why it just like stuck with me. I think it's just like the combat. Like it's really fun. It's just button mashing fun if you want to, but like if you want to get technical with it, you can like throw in block. You can edit your combos to like be longer or shorter depending on the weapon you're using. There's different like magic loadouts. There's limit breaks. Like there's so much like variability. Like I'd make it a point to full god file it every year, and I've still done that. I'll just like make a new save file, and I just get every achievement, every item, like everything, do all the super fights, literally everything, and like I'm still finding new ways to play that game, and like it's such a fucking masterpiece. Like it's just been one of those things where like it's really rare for me to enjoy a single player game, and this one like really caught me, and like it's still paying off.
Okay, yeah, and say that's what I was curious about because I wasn't sure if like, because like your brainworms are very interesting. Well, we'll get into the more recent ones that I know of, right?
Yeah.
But like, I was curious if you were the type of person who like set up like fake challenges for yourself in like RPGs, because like some people are like, I'll grind to like level 100 in like the starting area. Like, did you ever do that kind of thing, or was like Kingdom Hearts the game that you do this for, but that's like the only one?
It's kind of the only one I do. Yeah, like at first, like I beat Kingdom Hearts, and then I felt like a big sense of emptiness because I was like, oh shit, like I have nothing else to do. Like I beat the game, and the thing about Kingdom Hearts 2 is like when you beat it, you can still like go around the world and do shit. And
Right.
so I was like, okay, I guess I'll just like level up all my forms. I'll get the ultimate keyblade, which is like you have to do like a side quest for it and like get all these you basically have to collect like one of every single item for to get the recipe, and then you have to like collect some rare items to like make it, right? So that was the thing in itself. And like after that, I was like, okay, I'll do all the super bosses. There's Sephiroth in the first one. There's a couple other hidden things. And at that point it just came to like just okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna do everything. Like when you go from world to world, there's like a little mini game where you're flying a spaceship and you like there's a score in that too. So like I got triple S rank on all those, and it was just like a checklist that like one thing after another. I was like, okay, I'm done with this part of the game. I guess I can go do this. Oh, there's this. I guess I'll do that. And like eventually it just became like I'll just fucking godfile because I know how to do all this now. That I'll just do this and like kind of relive a little bit of my childhood, but also just like get like complete everything possible in the game, and then just like have the satisfaction of like, okay, I did that. Moving on.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So, and that's sort of the interesting thing because, like, I think the best way I've described you to people is you're consistently inconsistent.
Yeah.
Where I feel like the things you sort of delve your time into, as far as like hobby and interests, like yeah, I think the best one I can describe is like Bleach, right? Where like you're a fan of Bleach. Are you a fan of like, not to derail too much, but like to more so to prove my point, because you have fucked up anime opinions, but uh is there like, do you like do you when you see like a media, let's say like not fighting games, right? If you see a medium that you're like, oh, people describe it as, you know, like this other thing that I like, does that do anything for you for like influencing your enjoyment of it, or do you sort of approach everything as like blank slate, I'm gonna form my opinion on this, fuck everyone, you know? Like, because I feel like you're a very strong-headed person, so I've always been curious as to like, as far as like the interest that you have, like, you know, as an adult now we have to be a little bit more curated with how we spend our time, right? So like you do kind of have to be a little bit pickier, but like, were you like that as like a kid?
I was always like you said, like I'd say I'm very insular, where like I don't see anything until it's pointed out for me, I guess, in some cases, or I'll stumble across something, right? But like my world is very different from everybody else's world. Like I have so many
Mhm.
instances where like somebody will bring something up and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And like, how do you not know about Skibbity Toilet? And it's like how the fuck would I know about Skip? You know, it's like yeah, I'm very much of like I walk my own path and I kind of just do that. So if somebody says like, oh, this is like this, like when JJK came out, they're like, "Oh, it's like Bleach." Like that got me to pay attention to it. It got my gaze on it. But then, like as I watched it, I was like, "This is not like Bleach." Like I can see the similarities, but like this isn't why I like Bleach. So fuck it, whatever. Um, but yeah, it's more so just like I'll like look at something and just kind of form my opinion on it. Bleach hits a lot of like brain worms that naturally I just like the aesthetic, the fashion. Funny enough, because I'm not much of a fashion guy, but I can appreciate like the high fashion that the author injects into it. The theme, obviously, like I love feudal Japan shit. I love like Japanese mysticism, Shinto religion, the
Mhm.
mythology, that kind of stuff. Big fucking swords, like power levels, and just
Yeah.
like amazing designs. Like all that stuff, like really just fucking did it for me. And like it's rare for things to do that, but if it does, like I'm like super devoted to it. Like it becomes my shit. But yeah, just like I guess I answered, like I tend to just kind of like look at something and form my own opinion on it, but at the same time, it's like hard for me to notice something because like I'm just kind of like insular. I don't really pay much attention to like something that's not usually within my circle.
Interesting. Yeah. So, because like I think people have this idea of you, at least from the Discord, right?
Mhm.
Where I think people assume you dislike things. I think, at least the way I see it, like obviously there are things you dislike, but I think you are a person who, you know, like you said, you're very insular. You have, you know what you like, and if you're, that's the best way to put it. Like if you're introduced to something, I feel like you do give things a fair shot, but you don't often seek those things out, I would say. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So Yeah, that's interesting. And I was just trying to get a better idea of like, how you became this person. And
Yeah.
like, I had an idea of like kind of what that was. So, which is I think interesting. Because like I said, the fact that you were even on forums, like that is kind of like degen behavior back then, right? But
In my
like,
defense, I've always been the kind of guy to like do it himself because I don't like relying on other people for stuff, right? So
right.
like just things like that, like I'll go out of my way to like learn a new skill or do something just because that's like the thing I want to do or the thing I'm currently obsessive for. Like thanks to that I know like a little bit of like video editing, but it's also like a reason like I got really into graphic design because like it came down to a day where I was like, I hate my wallpaper. I want to have like a specific wallpaper. And like I would look through like wallpaper libraries and find nothing that like meshed with me. So I was like, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And it made like a shitty like bleach wallpaper in Photoshop. But yeah, a lot of that stuff is just like me just being, I guess, a go-getter just because I'm like obsessing about something at the time.
Interesting, interesting. Okay. Well, I bring that up about you and how you sort of form your opinions. We'll pivot a little bit. I definitely want to get into how you started, joining the FGC, and we'll probably get to that after a small break. But I figured we'd probably get this one out of the way. So you're known for a lot of opinions these days. Sort of what people might call rage bait. And I think what I'm trying to do, especially through this, but also just kind of from what I know about you, I think the strong opinions you have are formed from a place of genuineness. I don't know. I feel like you definitely don't go out of your way to intentionally make people upset, which is crazy because a lot of people do kind of like come in with like an idea of like a spectacle to be had. And
Sure.
like, so you know what I'm gonna get at. So like your opinions on food are well known within our community. We've had to, really pull back even asking you about certain things. And
Yeah.
instead of treading old water, with going over how you're a person who dislikes good food. I will say before I get into this, I'm glad you have these opinions because like we could have discourse all day. Like the food channel could genuinely just be like, guys, I like pineapple on pizza. And then we just fucking do nothing, right?
Yeah.
But you're in there saying like carne asada is shit, right? Or whatever.
True.
And so like instead of listing off foods that you dislike that other people enjoy and the other splendors of the world, what's the perfect Jonah meal? Like no money is like involved. Like if you could sit down and let's start with breakfast, right? What's the ideal Jonah breakfast?
Okay. So yeah, if we're doing it like this, so my ideal breakfast, and usually I'll just make this myself, but it's eggs with chorizo. Um,
Okay.
well, spicy eggs with chorizo, all wrapped into like a burrito, breakfast burrito. So like, fry up some
Yeah.
ham, some bacon, some eggs, mix it with chorizo so you get like that grease all incorporated. They get like red, add some chili flakes, pepper, wrap it all in a nice flour tortilla, get that corn shit out of here. And yeah, boom. Perfect breakfast burrito. That's my shit.
Okay. And like you say that, and immediately I'm just like, this guy's normal, right? He likes a good fucking breakfast burrito. And you say spicy. Do you add hot sauce? You mentioned red chili pepper flakes. Do you have a hot sauce that you prefer? I know our kind tends to favor towards some. Do you have one that you
Yeah.
like preference?
I mean, it's more just like a group. Like Cholula is good for like Mexican style hot sauces. Not really into like the Tabasco or anything like that. It's too peppery, but
Yep.
like
Same.
Cholula is fine. Valentina's fine. Those are like my Mexican ones, and then obviously for like Asian ones, like chili crisp, chili oil, sriracha. Like those are good, but it depends on the mood, I guess.
Okay, okay. So breakfast out of the way, breakfast
Mhm.
burrito. Do you add potatoes? Are you a potato guy? I know it's like a California thing, but
I can
like,
do
are you
potatoes. Yeah, it's just usually
potatoes?
they're kind of
Okay.
a hassle to make, so I usually skip out on them.
Yeah.
But if I have them ready, or if I'm feeling like super like not too hungry and like I want to have a good like a big ass breakfast, then yeah, sure, I'll throw in some potatoes.
Okay. Okay. I fuck with that. I do that too, but potatoes are a fucking pain in the ass. But if I can get some
Yeah,
red
they take so
potatoes in
long.
there,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
shit's good. And I'm glad you said Cholula. I feel like people really dick ride Tabasco, and I don't know. Like I
I
was
don't
gonna
get
say it's
it.
like a white person thing. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cholula is just the better sauce if we're like talking pure, like goes on most things, right?
Hmm.
Because I'll be honest with you, I fucking hate Tabasco sauce. I don't get it. And
Yeah.
like the fact that it's like everywhere blows my mind as far as like flavors go. Not to derail, but like you know what I mean. So like
Yeah.
I'm
I
glad
hate
you
going
said
to a
Cholula.
restaurant and being like, "Hey, can I get some hot sauce?" And they give me Tabasco. I'm like, "Fuck. Okay, never mind."
Yeah, I always have to be like, pardon, do you have Cholula? And
Yeah.
they're like,
Anything else?
no, no, kill
Yeah.
yourself. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, fine, I guess. But okay, then let's go into the next one. Are you a lunch person? Do you have lunch? Like I know at least a lot of Mexicans just don't, right? We just kind of like skip straight to dinner
It's usually
at
just
like
like my
9
guest
p.m.
dinner. Yeah, yeah. I'll do lunch if I can, but like usually no. But like, I guess like light lunch. Um, yeah, never mind. I'm too Mexican for this. I can't. I'll do like a big dinner, but like lunch is usually like whatever I have. Like I'll fucking eat a sandwich or whatever. But like ideal lunch, I don't really have anything. It's like I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm imposed on to have an ideal lunch by
Mhm.
like work culture, but like I never fucking had lunch like beyond like school. You know what I mean? And they were serving us milk. That's fucked up. No one's
Yeah.
ideal lunch like is chocolate milk with fucking a burger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
like, okay, so yeah, okay, then let's just say fuck that, fuck lunch, dinner, dinner. You're feeling good. It's a weekend. You don't even have to prep it yourself. Like it's just gonna appear in front of you. What is your ideal meal?
Ideal meal. This is even like last meal to your shape, but like for me, it's always been like spicy hot pot or pho. Like I really love soup
Fucking weeb.
personally, right?
Fucking weeb.
But
Okay.
so like my food staples are spicy, Asian, or Italian, or Mediterranean in those cases. But Mediterranean, they don't really do a lot of spice. But anyways, like ideally, yeah, like a spicy pho or a spicy like a hot pot, like a Szechuan pepper hot pot or some shit like that. Fucking amazing. I love that. Like noodles, meat, perfect. Like ideal meal.
Okay. Okay. So I feel like that makes sense. Like your breakfast is sort of ingrained in what Spanish culture you haven't rejected, and your meal is closer to like your weeb shit, which makes sense. Like me personally,
Mm.
Asian cuisine is like ideal. Like I love a good barbacoa, you know what I mean? That kind of shit I will do go out of my way for. But I think usually what I'm in the mood for is like some fucking lo mein. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, that's fair.
which is like its own thing. But like, yeah, okay. So then I guess the last thing I want to get into with as far as like food goes is, are you a snack person? Like, are you a candy snack kind of guy? Do you have like a favorite chip? Are you one of those like hot Cheeto ass motherfuckers, or like what's going on there?
I was, but like I feel like as I'm getting older, I'm less and less becoming a snack person. Um, like apparently, like as you get older, you also like sweets less, and that's definitely been my thing.
Mm.
But I mean, I used to be like a fucking taquitos boy. Like I just have taquitos, and like all the white girls in high school would be like, "Oh, give me some," and then just go from there. But like,
Oh,
yeah,
Duckies, yeah.
Takis, yeah, yeah, yeah. But like,
Yeah.
like in the past like decade, it's just been like, nah. I don't want to get my fucking fingers like all dusty and chili powdery and shit, and like candy just
Yeah,
doesn't do it for me. So I usually just pass. But yeah, I guess the answer is no.
that's fair. Okay, but like as a kid, were you a guy who really fucked with like mazapan? Were you like a gancitos kind of guy, or
Mastapan a little
well,
bit, bimbo bread, gancitos for sure, bubulubu, anything tamarindo, freaking pelon pelo rico, the ones that you like squeeze out and shit like that. Yeah, like Mexican candy was my shit back in the day. But
okay,
yeah, like as I've gotten older, it's just been less and less. But as a kid, fucking, I was a fiend for that shit.
okay. Then I guess before we wrap up our little segment, do you have any sort of like food hot takes you want to get out of the way, because I know people love hearing them, and as much as I'd love to like dump them in the Discord, I feel like now is a good time to like say some things you wanna like put at rest. You know what I mean? Of just like, this is how I feel. Fuck you.
Yeah. God, most of them have just been said by now. I don't really have like any hidden hot food takes. I just hate Mexican food. I'm sorry. Like tortas are fucking amazing. I mean, I'll go for an escubano, but a lot of Mexican food is just like too greasy and like there's no flavor, and that's my piece on it. Asian food is just better. I don't know. That's the end all be all, I guess.
That's just what it is. Okay, yeah, and people who are just tuning in for the Jonah
Sorry.
food review. Yeah, if this is how you had to find out, I'm sorry, because I'm not going to dig into it. There's a whole Discord where we already did that.
The chat's there. You guys just look up.
The
Jonah
chat's
food
there.
and just boom. Yeah.
Just literally type in Mexican food and have fun.
Yeah, use your.
I know
your
I did.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
I had a good time reading it. I was like, this guy's crazy. He's fighting a whole server of Mexicans right now, and I've always really respected that about you.
There was some recent posts about tamales in the server, and I just had to hold back so much. I was like, they're not that.
I was gonna ask you. I was like, what's this guy's tamale feeling? And then I thought about it. I was like, get that masa out of here. I bet.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'll eat some here and now and then. Like, I get a craving, whatever. But like 9 times out of 10, like, I'm good. I'm just not a fan.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, and this isn't new for those of you who have been around for a while. You've seen it. We've had to like quarantine the cooking channel. God bless that other people have taken over.
Yeah, dude. God bless her. Like been pushing over her own shit. Like, that's amazing. Shout out to her.
Yeah. Shouts out. I'm glad someone's using the food channel for good. Because God knows if it was just left to us, it would be kind of a hellscape. I want to save more of the questions for later, but I figured while we're talking about food, we could go ahead and get into one of the fan questions that was submitted by Redacted Scrumby, our friend here. They ask which one of us could chug the most amount of milk without throwing up or spilling anything. Now, Jonah, are you a milk person?
I'm a milk person. Funny enough, I'm Anglo enough that it just doesn't give me any issues, and I love like a good cold glass of milk in the morning.
Interesting. In the morning, that's fucked up. Okay. Okay, so like, gun to your head, right? Gun to your head. You have to just keep chugging this kegger of milk. Let's go by gallons, or maybe let's go by cups. I don't know if either of us are getting a gallon. How much milk do you think you could chug before you're just vomiting?
I think my absolute max would be like 5.
5 cups?
Like, I can probably do like 4, feel a little woozy, but like still hold it in. But like 5 is definitely the point where I'm like, okay, my body can't hold this, and then bleh.
Okay, so like, do you think, like, say we get you a carton of milk, right? Like a liter, right? Do you think you could slam that empty stomach?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Empty stomach, like in the morning, like nice brisk cold, I can definitely slam that. I can slam 2.
That's insane. That's like almost a gallon, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, do you think you could probably get halfway through a gallon then? Is what you're saying?
Sure. Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. Okay, I'm like slightly lactose intolerant, so like I'm not gonna pretend that I would go in it. But I am the throat goat, which is like something about me that the viewers might not know. Is that I don't have a gag reflex. So like if I can inhale milk, I could probably go for a while. The reality is I fucking hate milk. I do not drink it. I stopped drinking it for like years, and then like I started incorporating it into my diet, and like it just fucks me up, right? So like I think Scrumpy, to answer your question, I think I would probably get 4 cups in. I would feel the disgust of having consumed so much dairy for a bit that like I would probably kill myself. Unrelated, but to answer your question, I think it'd probably be about 4 cups. Okay. Well, I'm glad we got our food segment out of the way. We're gonna take a small break here, and then when we get back, I'm gonna ask you about how you got into the FGC, which is the more interesting thing. We are a fighting game podcast. At the end of the day, so I do want to spend some time actually talking about fighting games, not just food opinions. But we got some more interesting questions. You fucking freaks out there have some weird ones for us. And when we get back, like I said, we're gonna get into the FGC. We're gonna talk about Davin, our favorite Mexican.
Yeah.
Shout? No, I don't know if I want to shout him out. I'll be so. We'll see. We'll see.
Slight mention.
But yeah, slight mention. So we're gonna take a quick 5, and we'll see you folks soon. And
Mods? Change his gender? This bubble? Doing the combo?
Oh my god. Rosair's making me so sad. He doesn't know the umbrella rounds. I like
Flying catch out. That's it. 3-2.
Good
Nona
shit
takes
by
his
Oversol,
first
man.
crossover.
He won't score the third time. Truly. What? I said he won't.
Alrighty, welcome back. If you're just tuning in, we are in the middle of interviewing the man, the myth, the legend, Oversol Jonah, a scourge on the WFGC Discord and fighting games everywhere. So yeah, let's start with that. Let's oh wait, hold on. We have a contractual obligation with Strange Pixel. Let's get that out of the way real quick. Jonah, do you have that?
Yeah, I have that. Okay, so I want everybody to know the magic that is Street Fighter Cross Tekken Lars. All right, so this guy has amazing approach with the Fireball and One dash. Super easy game plan. You just get in there. You just fucking abuse your amazing normals. Eureka. You have a DP that requires no fucking meter for reversers. It's so fucking good. Play Lars. That's it.
Hell yeah. I do have my own note about Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I don't know about Tekken characters because I have a life, but I Kuro Toro, Street Fighter Cross Tekken,
Of
Cole.
course, you pick the fucking band characters.
Yeah, I love those pieces of shit. Everyone else is chill. Big fan of Cole McGrath, the shitty Mega Man. Big fan. I know he wasn't asking me to shell Street Fighter Cross Tekken in general, but yeah, get the fan mod, get all that shit back that Capcom took out of it. It's delisted, so you're gonna fucking have to pirate that shit. But yeah,
it's such a cool game. It's just a shame that it got like the shit show that it did, but it's like legit a good fighting game. I played it a bunch. It's so fun.
yeah. See, even before I started playing fighting games, I learned what on disc DLC was, and I was like, well, we gotta kill someone. I think.
We just got shit.
And we just got to shoot someone. I didn't know who, but I was pissed, and I didn't even play fighting games. But yeah, okay. So let's go back. This is like, what year are we in, Jonah? The when you first made contact with the FGC.
The FGC. I want to say 20. Let's say 2013. Yeah, 2013.
2013. Okay, so walk me into that. What was that like? How did you approach it? How did you get into it? You mentioned you're a competitive person, so I have to imagine you went into it with the mindset that you were going to kick some ass. So
Bro,
what was that like?
Evo first year and get first place. Yeah, that's how fucking motivated I was. Yeah, no, like you talked about earlier, I've always been like a super driven person that oftentimes bites me in the ass, but I've gotten better at it over the years. But like, no, for sure, like I got like this was the thing I was always looking for, I guess, because I was always, like I said, I was always playing fighting games, but like it was always a case of like too good for the casual scene, or like for your cousins or whatever, and like they wouldn't want to play, and like online I did okay, but it's just like there's like if you're an online warrior, like you're nothing compared to like a local player. So that was like a learning experience of like, okay, like I'm a high rank online in BlazBlue or whatever, but like in person, I'm getting my ass beat by like things I've never seen before. Also like things are just like snappier because you don't have like online lag to account for. So that was a big thing. But Yeah, no, it was really cool. Just like coming somewhere and like getting my ass kicked and be like, okay, cool. Like there's actual competition. I just super disappointed that like BlazBlue wasn't really a game. It was just that one game that like I had that crossover with. But in general, like when I came into the scene, fighting games has always been like a labor of love for if you want to compete. And less so now because they're like I said, there's a lot more availability. There's like a structure for it. A lot of people are just like into fighting games now. They're definitely more accessible than they were before. But when I first joined the WGC, the big thing was Tekken 13, or not Tekken, KOF 13. It was me, a guy named George, Efren, Vu. They're like, I like to describe them to newcomers as like me and White Tree, but back in the day. Like one was always the straight man, super likable, and the other one was always like the raging fucking Mexican. That was Efren. I love that guy. Shout out to Efren. But like
That's up.
it was just kind of like they were like the core group. Then you had some other people like playing like Peter back in the day. He's played a lot of like more MVC 3. Same with this guy named Steven. He's still in the community. He's in and out, but shout out Steven, Affinity. He's really into UMC 3. But yeah, no, like for the most part, I was just grinding KOF 13. The big thing that got me into it was like obviously it was a big game in the scene, but that year's Evo, I think it was 2013. KOF 13 got into finals Sunday for Evo, and we were watching it at the Burrow, and it was like the most hype finals ever. It was Bala versus Mad KOF. It was this Korean player versus like this Mexican player, and I've always like kind of known through the grapevine that like Mexicans were really good at KOF because like that was always the game at the arcades back when I would live there. That and Tekken, but KOF was always a big thing. My dad was a Rugal main back in the day, so I grew up playing against Rugal a little bit whenever we had the chance, and yeah, that was always like I always knew, but like when I saw like an actual Mexican, like another Mexican on stage, I was like, dude, this is so
An
cool.
actual
Really-
Mexican.
right? You don't see that often, like in other games. Like it's always a fucking like Asian guy, and it's like, okay, there's like Japanese player number 6, like dominating at this game again. But no, it was cool to see like the representation there. And like it's one thing to like see representation, but it's another thing to like see a representation that's like absolutely whooping the other guy's fucking ass. Like Bala is so fucking good at this game. And yeah, like that was like a super hype set. Funny enough, I didn't take inspiration from Bala on like what characters he picked because he plays like grapplers and shit. Whereas I really liked what I saw on screen with Duelon. Like Matt Koef was playing like a team of like Duelon something and Chin, I think, or I think he played Kim. But yeah, no, like it's super hype set and like it really inspired me like to see the energy and like just to see all the hype and like how much like skill goes into like playing it. Like that really like blew me away. And so yeah, like the next day I sold all my Vanguard stuff. That's the card game I was playing at the time. We can talk a little bit about that later. But basically like I dropped a promising YouTube career because I was a content creator for Vanguard. And I was one of the early ones and I was getting a lot of steam there. And I dropped all that just to jump into fighting games because like all my passion was there now. And yeah, I bought like a limited edition Evo arcade stick. I wish I still had it. I ended up selling it after I quit, but I bought that stick and I bought a copy of KOF 13 and I just started grinding as soon as I was able to. And yeah, like it was a lot of like learning on the spot. I got rocked so much. I wasn't good, but like I did learn a lot of like what it takes to like be really good at fighting games. And like I remember I'd spend like 7 hours whenever I have a free day, like 7 hours just like straight grinding in training mode, doing nothing else really, like learning combos, learning frame traps, and then just kind of like I would like grind, come to locals, apply what I've learned, and then just like keep the cycle going. Like that's always been like the rewarding thing. And the thing that still keeps me with like fighting games today is like seeing that improvement because like I went from not being able to do rekkas on a character to it being like second nature. Like I can just do them like as if it's nothing, right? And so like that's one thing, but like just being aware of like just kind of like learning of like, oh, okay, like I should actually like use neutral. I should use this button. I should do this. Like I shouldn't also like always like try to just get in and break their defenses. I should let them hang themselves. Just things like that. Like these little epiphanies you have back and forth while you're playing and learning. Like that's always been like a super rewarding thing. And yeah, like just the self improvement and seeing yourself improve at the same time is like always been like a huge motivating factor for like when it comes to fighting games. And yeah, it's kept me motivated.
Gotcha. Okay, so as far as like the WFGC, how did you find it? Was this a Facebook thing at the time? Did you know someone who competed? Because yeah, like you played fighting games, so like you were probably finding people who played. What was that like? How did you get into it?
It was totally accidental. Like I came to the borough for Vanguard locals, and it just happened that fucking George and some other FGC guys were there trying to like get the spot as a venue. Eventually, they did, and so there's that overlap. And
Mhm.
yeah, just like losing to George because he was talking shit. He was like, I'm the best. Like, who wants to play? Whatever. Um, that was like the intro into it, and then eventually, like he kind of just did the spiel of like, we're the WFGC, we're on this Facebook group. I joined that night, and then from there, we like that was the hub back then. Like we didn't have Discord or anything, so like whenever somebody
Right, of
proposed,
course.
it'd either be like at somebody's house. Like we went to Vu and
Yep.
Efren's house a couple times, or they'd have like a small venue. Eventually, this place called Battle Stations opened up here in town, and that was like a spot for it. But yeah, for a lot of for like early stuff was like through the Facebook group, and then just kind of like it's a Sunday, who's hosting today, and then do that.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, I don't know, the whole lore of the WFGC. We don't really have to get into it too much. But as far as like over the years, you know what I mean? Like, let's say, like I said, 2 years ago is when I joined, but from when you started playing to pre-COVID, what was your journey like? What games did you play? How did you feel like you improved as a competitor? Notable stories, like things that stick
Yeah.
out to you about that time.
Yeah, it was a lot of just like KO13, grinding through that. The thing is like KO13 is great, but it didn't have a good online scene. So really, the only time I really got some quality games was like locally. So for a lot of that early stuff, it was like just grinding KO13, kind of just playing the three guys here. It was George, Efren, Vu. Um, Eventually, we got some other people. Like shout outs to Brett, shout outs to David. There's a couple other people that joined, and like the scene grew a little bigger as it went on. But yeah, it was just a lot of like for me, it was more of just like getting my actual training wheels off and learning like proper fighting games and actually like competitive level stuff. Nothing too crazy, but like just being able to just be the bare bones. Like this is the guy you're gonna fight at tournaments. It's not that good, but he'll give you a challenge, kind of level, I guess. Um, and then like eventually after locals and all that, we would like go to max out. Back then, things were a little rough because George was the guy that was in charge of the FGC at the time, more or less. And I don't want to get in too much into him, but like he was awful. If anybody recognizes him, the guy was okay, but like he had a horrible habit of just like being super, like just doing stupid shit. There's a story. I'm sorry, KC, but like I'm not gonna name names mainly because I don't remember. But like a guy in KC, like we always had a rivalry between Wichita and Kansas City.
Of
This has
course.
been known, right? But there's a guy that like I guess he went to jail for some stupid shit. It was like nothing bad. It was like super dumb. I think it was like not paying child support payment or something along those lines, right? So he got into jail, and this guy was he's a good player, but George, being the dumbass he was, he drove to Kansas City, took a picture of the prison that the guy was at, and then posted in their group chat or their like Facebook group, and was like, "Yo, where y'all at?" And like everybody was like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude? Like this is,"
That's
and just
crazy.
on top of like that, on top of like the previous drama that we've had historically with KC, like KC was just really like, okay, fuck you guys, like we don't fuck with you, whatever. So going to like other tournaments, especially in KC, was rough because a lot of them hated us just off rip. But thankfully, there's some people like Steven. That guy he was like the white tree of before, where he's like a super affable guy. Everybody likes him. He's a great ambassador for the local scene. And so if you hate the guy that's the figurehead, like if you hate Ed, for example, you'll like White Tree at least. So you'll deal with White Tree, you won't deal with Ed. That was kind of the dynamic we had back then.
Interesting.
So thanks to
Rest in peace,
Steven,
White Tree.
yeah, rest in peace, White Tree. But thanks to Steven, we were able to like actually go to some max outs early on. And those were fun. There was like one of my favorites was there was a max out at like a pizza place. Casey will definitely be able to like drop the lore there. But that was cool. I didn't do too well. Just went kind of like 2-1. Or no. At best, I did like 2-2, but it was more just like 1-2. Like a win a solid match and then lose, whatever. But I still had a blast just because like this was the first time I was doing like competitive fighting games and things like that, and the environment's
Right.
always sick. Playing casuals before bracket like was always super fun. I still like doing that now. But yeah, it was a lot of just like learning like what competitive fighting games are and like just getting a scope of like this is what a tournament looks like, right? And then like as the years went on, kind of traveled a little bit more to KC for a couple max outs here and there. Eventually, max out stopped for some reason. I think it was just kind of the same issues we have today, where like just finding a good venue is rough.
Right.
But yeah, it kind of just like I kind of just did KOF 13 for the most part. There's some games that popped up like fucking PlayStation All Stars. That game came out. Shout outs Garen because like PlayStation All Stars came out. I had a buddy named Jordan. I think he might still be in the FGC, but anyways, he was like, okay, who are you gonna play? And I was like, I'm thinking like Raiden. And he was like, perfect. Raiden's like top tier. You do this one combo with Raiden, you'll win every time. And so I just cheesed the entire tournament, and I got like, I think I got first place. The only other person that like met me at finals was Garen. Again, shout outs Garen. But
That's
yeah,
out.
got a cool little like fucking like stick bag for it for that tournament. But yeah, I
Uh,
had like that little stint, and then like Injustice came out. That was actually fun. Like funny enough, that was like a decently big game here. I played Doomsday.
so I heard. So I heard, which is fucked up. But
It's fucked up because you just like low light and you just armor up and you're just like low light, whatever. Yeah, that shit was fun. Um, oh, quick brag. I actually beat Peter in finals because he was playing, I think he was playing Killer Frost, and I played Doomsday and Green Lantern, both broken pieces of shit. Doomsday was cheesy because like if you just respect his armor, he kind of falls apart, especially when like me being as bad as I was back then. But Green Lantern, like the moment you're not blocking or you jump, he just like force grabs you and then just gets a combo and does like 30%. So yeah, that was like my only time beating Peter, and after that he got like really good and just said fuck you.
shut up, Peter.
Shout out Peter. But yeah, no, like it was KOF, those two games, and then I kind of fell off for a bit. Like I kind of just stopped playing for a little bit, and then like Tekken 7 came out, and that game really got my attention, and I did a lot of grinding on that. It was also useful that like White Tree, because White Tree was always around, but he was like, I mean, for one, he was young, but also he was just like a little yapper. He didn't really like play. But then Tekken came out, and he kind of got like the competitive bug, and he sort of had the same journey I did of like, oh, I actually like want to compete and like get good at this game. And so me and him have always had a rivalry in other things like League of Legends and whatnot. But when it came to Tekken 7, he really like became my rival, right?
Hello.
And so we'd always just like play, and like I feel like if you're gonna get better at a fighting game, that's my biggest piece of advice is like find a rival, find somebody that you just can't fucking
Yeah.
stand winning, like losing into against, and also somebody who's gonna like keep up and like level up with you. Like it's so good. Even today, like even with my break, like still my rival. My biggest motivation is just to beat his bitch ass, and then once I do, like I kind of just chill out. But yeah, just find a rival, and that'll keep you motivated for forever as long as they're on the same track.
Shouts out Conchu. I want you dead. Actually, this isn't a joke. This is a threat on Twitch.com. Yeah, that's fair. I definitely think that's like a huge part of like what makes fighting games interesting, right? Is that like your progress is a lot more tangible. I think and like without like teen games, right, or team games, like you are really the make or break point, right? Like there's some fucked up shit, like the fact that people were playing Injustice for money, it's insane to me. But like I was also playing Smash, so like what the fuck do I know? So like but for the most part, like you do sort of are in full control of your path in this whole thing. And so I can imagine, like, especially being as you are, like that's very enticing, right? So yeah, okay, so that's sick. Yeah, and this was like Tekken 7 all the way up until like pre-COVID. What was fighting games like for you during COVID? Because like that's when a lot of people started playing fighting games. You know what I mean? Like that's where it really started to. I think I noticed people were going from games that had really shitty online Smash and started trying other fighting games. Like I know at the time I was playing a lot of Dragon Ball, mostly because again Smash Online was just miserable to play. What was COVID like for you?
COVID, yeah. I mean, funny enough, and some people will kind of assume this. I enjoyed COVID a lot more than I should have, just because like
You
at
don't
the
say.
time, yeah, right. No, at the time, like I was like super like I would just work, kind of play games on my like the computer, and that was about it. COVID was just more of that. So for the most part, it was all right. Never mind like the stress of like, oh, my family's going out and ignoring restrictions, and I might get sick because I have asthma and I'm fat. So yeah,
Yeah, I hear
besides
you.
that, but no, for like a lot of COVID, I was just like a lot of Tekken 7 grinding. I really ranked up a lot. That's like when I first got like blue, purple ranks in Tekken 7. Just grinding out. And then yeah, playing like Dragon Ball, that was a big thing. Funny enough, me and White were gonna get really into Grand Blue Fantasy, but then COVID happened and the online was ass, so we just fucking dropped
Yeah,
it. It was like, okay, whatever.
saved
Um,
yourself.
yeah, but like, yeah, that was kind of it. Like, funny enough, like fighting games weren't too big for me during COVID because like at that time I started playing Final Fantasy 14, and that was like the big MMO I could like
Yeah,
really dive into and like spend all my time on. I wasn't going outside anyways, so I was like, okay, that was my big
right.
focus. But yeah, it was just like Tekken 7, Dragon Ball, and then just a bunch of Final Fantasy 14.
Damn, hell yeah. Hey, out of curiosity, because everyone fucked up answer. Uh, how many days total, like full 24 hours, did you think you put into Final Fantasy?
Easily like 3,000 hours. I don't even have to look at it. Like,
Fuck.
it's just so much fucking time, dude. I grinded that game to death. It gets to the point where like I come back every now and then when a new patch releases, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I look at all I've done. I'm like Alexander. Like I look at the conquering I've done, and I'm like, and then I just get bored, and then I log off. Like it's just I've
That's
done
fair.
everything in that game. It's yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Fantasy Star Online too. Shouts out finally getting an English port and then no one played it. Uh but yeah, okay. And so yeah, I guess that leaves us to kind of today. You know what I mean? Like post COVID sort of like uh positioning. How do you feel like your journey as a competitor? Like, do you feel like you still have a lot of room to grow? I know you have opinions about Tekken 8, but like in general with fighting games, where do you feel like you are with fighting games currently?
I'm at like that yeah, with fighting games, I'm at like that hermit level where like I've kind of achieved a level of inner peace where like it's okay if I'm not the best, but I still want to beat Weichi's bitch ass. It's kind of like my current like motto. Um but no, like for starting cuz like so before COVID or like as COVID was starting, me and Weichi had a conversation of like let's actually compete and like get into Tekken 7 because we went to a tournament locally and that was really fun. And that kind of like lit a fire under our asses of like let's actually compete and get this going, yada yada. Then COVID happened and we had to put that on hold forever. But as COVID was like more or less waning and ending, Tekken 8 was announced, and we had that conversation again of like, okay, let's kind of get competitive and actually do this for once. And so that's actually kind of what led to like the comeback for me and him into the FGC because like I want to say after 2016, I fell off of the local FGC. I was kind of in and out sometimes, but like I wasn't active anymore. I was doing my other thing. I was like really into League of Legends. I was just in another scene, yada yada. So and Wedgie was kind of the same thing too. So we've always been just kind of tied that way. And yeah, we can like came back in and out, and there was just parts where like we went to a local and it wasn't that good, so we are kind of like, okay, maybe we'll come back later. Tekken 8 was really like the fire that kind of brought us back. And so 2014, or I'm sorry, 2024, we came back. Tekken 8 launched. We found that like the community was totally different from back then. Totally new faces. Ed was a thing. There's a lot more structure. Like it was like, wow, okay, this is awesome. Actually, like holy shit. And we really got into it. And like all of 24 or 2024, we did a lot of traveling. We went to there's a point in early 2024 where we went to an out of town local or out of town tournament like every other week, and it was
Yeah.
fun as hell, but it drained the fuck out of our wallets. And like we were also planning on
Yeah.
going to Evo that year too, so it was just like, so at least I feel like I overdid it because I only have so much social energy.
Right.
So like 2024, we did a shitload of like out of town locals, shitload of locals every weekend, ton of grinding, and it was cool. Like me and him would have like a lot of conversations on the way back home, of like, dude, we are getting better and better and better by week, and like it's so sick to see this improvement and yada yada. And like we do raw, like We'd review like local footage and just kind of like like hella grind, and that was really really fun. But we definitely took different approaches because like as 2025 was coming around, we both hit our goals of like getting to a certain rank at the end of the year. Both were top the local, went to Evo. Like as far as both of us were concerned, like we achieved our goals, but after that we went like different paths. Like 2025, I was getting really burned out, so I just got back into fighting game or not fighting games, trading card games. Because I did miss that. That's always been like my big thing, like where I'm just like really really good in. And to be honest, like with Tekken, like it's been humbling because like I'm not as good as I typically am at like other like competitive games that I'm at. But it's also been one thing of like it's so cool to see like other people in the scene are like way stronger and like actually challenging. So that was one thing of like I had to deal with the ego hit of like not being the best, but also like being motivated that I wasn't the best was a cool thing. But all that traveling and all that like really burned me out socially. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get like take a break, get into this other thing. I got into Pokemon at that time. Um, and in White Tree, he took the other approach. He was like, this is just even better. So he got heavier into it and just did more locals and stuck with Tekken and whatnot. And yeah, this whole past year it was like Pokemon and kind of doing that side quests. Now there's another game called Riftbound that I'm playing that I'm really into as well. But in general, like we definitely split our paths, and I feel like we're gonna about to converge again, just because like I do miss that time of like grinding locals, getting better, and all that. But I have less of an ego of it. Like I mentioned, like I don't want to be the best per se. I still want to be White Tree, but I just want to kind of like do the Ryu thing and like just see how strong I become, and like just go on my path of like self improvement and whatnot.
Interesting. Hell yeah. Okay, yeah, that definitely makes sense. And that I within was it? I think I joined. I actually joined in 2022, but it was it was different. But I rejoined in 2024, and that's when I started traveling more as well. So I think it's interesting that like it was around the same time that a lot of you folks sort of like picked up fighting games. But yeah, no, that's sick. I mean, I think you have probably the best mindset when it comes to how you see improvement in fighting games or like the purpose of it, which I think and there's a question in the fan submissions that I think will kind of re-go over some of this stuff, and I kind of wish Gills was here because I think his perspective would be interesting on that as well. But I do think it's interesting to devote so much time to fighting games, but still have like that love for it that I imagine you do. You know what I mean? Like regardless of like your opinions of like the current scene for Tekken 8. I can see that it is still like the concept of competing is still like the main interest to you. So like the vessel in which you do it is kind of like whatever feels the best at the moment, which I think is definitely the best mindset to have with it.
For sure.
But yeah, no, that's sick. I mean, I think we covered a lot of ground today. I think I got most of the questions I was curious about. So I went ahead and put out a forum for questions to ask either me or Jonah. And I'll probably keep doing that depending on who we get on, just to kind of, kind of keep things interesting. So I think we should go ahead and peep those. Sure. Let's I'm gonna open up my phone, and I already sent it to you. So let's just go from the top, and let's just go from there. I know there's a couple of them that we probably won't be able to do today. So Shadow King asks, what characters are coming to season 2 for Fatal Fury, Fatal Wolves? Now, Jonah, we don't know. So we're just gonna guess.
Apparently, Kenshiro has been like kind of leaked, announced, teased, whatever.
Right. I saw that. So, which actually is funny because I was gonna say Goku because that's the annoying thing people say for like Smash.
Yeah.
So who do you think? Fucking Kenshiro? Fucking Ichigo? What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Give me 4 characters for this year.
I don't know, because like it's one thing because like Smash is like anybody can be there, right? But like City of the Wolves has really proved that anybody can be there. We have fucking Salvatore fucking Ganachi, like of all people. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna throw a wild guess. Like we're gonna get fucking I don't know, somebody from Fexel. I don't know what the main character's name. Kyrie, I think is like his name, whatever. I don't fucking know, dude. Let's get Scorpion in there. Let's get some MK characters that aren't in an ass game in fucking
Oh, yeah?
City of the Wolves.
That'd be sick. That'd be sick. Okay. I think Shadow King. I think Goku, like I said, I think Goku's a strong one. I think Pitbull has a non-zero chance of getting in.
Mr. Worldwide, hell yeah.
Mr. fucking Worldwide, you know what I mean? Like I think he's definitely a strong contender. I don't think it's
Undertaker. That's a good pick.
The Undertaker is a good pick. That's a good pick. I don't think this is the last we've seen of Street Fighter characters.
No, for sure.
I think we're gonna get a few more. If not, Ryu himself. But yeah, I think it looks promising for the future of SNK. I don't know if that means a new King of Fighters game. But whoever they put out, I hope it's I hope it's cool. I know it doesn't work for like reasons already stated. But I actually love Shermie. Give me Shermie. That'd be sick.
Cool. Yeah.
Shermie would be sick. Okay. So this next
mechanics should be really good too, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Let me spin to win. Okay, so Jenna, this one's actually for you. This is from Rathu King. He asks, who is the male FG character Jonah would want to suck to completion?
So spoilers for the chat, I'm not gay, but
right.
I think it would have to be Dualon, specifically because he's a really beautiful guy and he looks like just girly enough that I could probably be okay with it. So I'm sure.
Interesting. Dualon. Okay. Well, they didn't ask me this question, so I'm not going to answer it.
Rosero, it's me, Quincy. How do I beat Davin's Geef? Can't win. Help me.
So I went ahead and actually pulled up some of Davin's VODs. Davin plays Geef. No one else. He claims to play Alex. I've seen him lurking in Street Fighter V occasionally, but it's I guess amazing to see sort of the way Davin plays. And Jonah, you don't play Street Fighter,
like super casually, I guess. Yeah,
casually,
I right? Hammy combo, and that's about it.
I haven't mentioned it, but I only play anime games. So we don't know how to beat Davin's Geef. So instead, I know who can. It's Chills. Shouts out Chills in the Discord. It consistently beats Davin, actually. Most people beat Davin, actually, from what I heard. Actually, Davin doesn't know this, but one of the guys he played was actually my nephew, who also plays Geef. And I cannot believe the things I saw. But let's not delay any further. Let's go ahead and watch this game. We won't watch the whole thing, but maybe you and I can commentate it. So this is Chills versus Davin's Geef. Chills. I don't actually know who Chills plays. Do you?
I have no idea. At least when it comes to Street Fighter, Chills always like plays somebody like else every week. So I don't know.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've noticed when I was watching their VODs. Is I saw him win with Kimberly. I saw him win with Ryu. I saw him win with like characters that I have no right winning. So what we're watching here is Davin is already out of meter, trying to get in. Ryu, as far as like the matchup with Geef is a pretty solid one. You know what I mean? Like I think it's not like Dalsum where like you're kind of fucked. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's still a lot you can do. Yeah, it's kind of sick, right? And then
honestly, not wrecking, your advice is just like break him out, because holy shit, Davin's free. He's so aggressive for no reason.
He's so aggressive, and yeah, we'll see this in round 2 because I've already watched this. Davin is honestly, it's kind of impressive that he plays a grappler for how impatient he is. I think he would really like a rushdown character.
Bro just got spaced out. You
But
also,
that
like, burns
probably
resources
feels good.
way too quick. Okay, like sure, SPD, but like you're almost at a par like here.
Right. And so and yeah.
wrecked, and now you're fucked.
Oh my god, yeah, you're at a bar.
Now you're.
What are we doing, bro?
Oh my god, he went for the
Oh
wrong super.
my god. Oh. David had the life lead, and yet sure enough, you know, we know how this goes. Let's bring it back. So to beat Davin's Geef, which was ultimately the question, and I don't actually know if Davin asked it because I don't think he would ask that question with the rank I saw. I saw this man lose so much MR when I was looking for this clip. David, I love you. Genuinely. But I guess to beat his Geef, throw like the first couple of percentages of the round, gain some meter, and then wait for David to get impatient. And because right, or play Dawson. Jonah, do you have any advice from what you just saw for
I don't play Street
people who
Fighter,
want to beat
but
David?
kind of the same thing. Let him hang himself because he will hang himself, and yeah, just win. Just be patient and let him fuck himself
Just
up.
win. Don't get hit. Don't get hit. Block. And yeah, wow, okay. Well, that's that was eventful. That was one I was looking forward to. Because I like I said, I don't play Street Fighter, so I actually don't know how good it is. Actually, shouts out White Tree and Dampley and Baba. When we went out to a concert last year, one of my normie friends, he asked them if I was street verified, and they didn't know because like we just don't play the same games. I play Guilty Gear. I play Dragon Ball. You know, I mean, two games that are not very popular in the scenes I frequent. So they just didn't know. But that's kind of the case with like a lot of people, I think, in the Discord. The Discord's so active that I don't actually really know, you know, who's good at what, right? Like I want to know what kind of fucked up games everyone plays, and hopefully with this show we'll find out, right? So, okay, so next question comes from Gucci. Gucci, shouts out Gucci. They ask, in a lost situation, who would eat who first? Wait, hold on. Who would eat who first? Oversol or Rosero? Let's see. So Lost is a bad show. So let's go ahead and get that one out there, right?
Sure, yeah.
And I already forgot the question. I was just thinking about that. So who would eat who first? So the thing is, right? And I'll go ahead and answer this because I think you and I probably have the same answer. We'll probably kill the other. I think, give it like if we had to. Like I think, would you have any reservations about killing me, Jonah? I know we haven't known each other for very long, but do you think you would hesitate?
I would definitely hesitate, but like. And I could say, like, I love you. We're friends. But, like, in a life and death situation, I got to weigh the options.
Yeah, it's on site. Yeah.
Although, I will say, if it does come to the point where, like, I have to kill you, I'm definitely going to make it, like, as painless as possible. Like, I'll kill you in your sleep or something, right? Like, I don't want you consciously knowing that Jonah killed you or anything like that.
Right.
It's kind of like the most I want to think about it. But who would eat who first? I guess it's just like a battle of like who can outwit the other and like get the snipe and then just kind of go from there. But,
yeah, like who gets the dub?
Yeah, just like yeah. So I don't have like the answer, but like I would do everything in my power to like avoid that until it's like okay, fuck it, I gotta do it.
Yeah, like I think we would like like Minecraft scout the whole island first. I don't think it's like frame one we land, we realized the miracle of not dying in a plane. Sure. And then we just turn on each other right away. I don't think that's what either one of us would do. I think the more interesting question to add on is how long would it take before we start considering it as an option? Now, me, month, 2 months. I think if I notice like it's gonna come down to it, I think it'd take me about 2 months before I'd start thinking about the idea. Not doing it, but I think it would take me a few months.
Kind of similar.
Given we
Depends on
survive.
the situation. Like, is there a coconut tree, or is there just like some food we can scrounge up or some shit like that? Also, like we're both big guys, we can like live off of this shit for a decent while that burns off.
Yeah.
But it just kind of depends on the island. But yeah, sure, like 2-3 months around there. Like, let's say shit's getting like super heavy, and like we've run out of all options. Like, I'd say like a month or two after that, then yeah, sure, it's like, okay, I gotta kill the guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I don't know about you, but I think like I have no track record for this. But I think I'd probably be pretty like goated at fishing. You know what I mean? Like how hard could it really be? You know what I mean? Like
Especially
I'm
when,
not
like, you just gotta sharpen up a spear and just right. So
right, or like just
Yeah.
make a net. You know
or
what I
just make a
mean?
net, get some bait. Like worms are easy to find. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, okay. That's a good answer. I think that's a good answer. So let's go ahead and go to the next one. Let's see. So the next question is by your friend Andrew, and they ask, Jonah, are you a generous lover? I've heard good things from associates. Um,
Well, it's a good thing that my reputation's good. But yeah, I'll just for the chat here, I'm very generous lover.
okay, that's good. That's good. We don't have to dwell on that question too long. We don't have to know whose associates are spreading this information, but
Right.
let's see. Yeah, we kind of covered this next one. This is by Mega Man. They ask, what was the first fighting game you took seriously and why? You kind of, if you want to go over it, yeah, I know it was like kind of an hour ago. If you want to give a brief bullet point as to which one that was.
Yeah, Bleach Dark Souls. It's this really fun fighting game on the DS. It's got like kind of like old school. I think it's like old school art of fighting, where there's like two planes where you jump back and forth in. It doesn't really impact competitive. You're usually just sticking on one plane. But yeah, no, it's Bleach Dark Souls. It's super fun. It's got like a surprisingly deep combo system too. It's 2D fighter. It's just super fun. Yeah, definitely try it out.
Oh yeah, and I'll go ahead and answer this one too. The first fighting game I took seriously, not counting Smash, because I've been playing Smash for a long time. That's how I got into TOing. But I started playing Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball. I didn't even really give a shit about Dragon Ball back then. It was just kind of sick. And like I said, I've kind of always been interested in anime fighting games for the longest time, and Dragon Ball was the first one. Like I said, it was that first time I had someone who was slightly better than me, and that pissed me off. Shout out Conchu again.
Always have a
And then I always have a rival, and I got so much better than him. He doesn't play the game, so like, you know.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, Dragon Ball. I think the first fighting game that I went out of my way to purchase for the sole sake of learning a fighting game, though, was Skullgirls. Skullgirls saw a commercial for it on G4. Rest in peace, G4. It died twice. Crazy. Kind of like Christ.
True.
But yeah, Skullgirls. That was like probably the one that like I remember actually like grinding the story out. But yeah, Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was the one, and then I went to a max out, thinking I was hot shit. Wasn't really bad. But yeah. So next question is from they say fucking I don't know what or Ed or someone. So I'm gonna assume this is David again. They ask, hey, FNF, big fan here. Question for Angel. How do you deal with losing motivation to keep improving? Sometimes you want to be better, but it feels like the effort you put in isn't worth it. So, yeah, and Oversol, you can chime in a second. But for me, when I feel like I'm losing motivation to learn a fighting game, I like to do something else that I enjoy. I think it's important in general with most gamers, I think, to do this, is to have other hobbies that you find rewarding, right? I think some people have different things that sort of like, I don't know, work for them. Card games, Big fan of card games. I play a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh. When I was really unwell, I played Overwatch, which didn't really make me feel better. I'll be honest with you. Insta queuing just sucks. CS:GO, right? But I think the crux of the question is really how do you continue to get better despite your current predicament? And I mean, it's like the annoying answer is it's different for everyone, right? So at least for me, my interest in fighting games is to get better at what I'm currently trying to do. Sometimes it's just learn a character. Other times it was placing consistently. I think now my goals are different, but I think it's hard because like fighting games is such a personal journey, right? Like you really feel like shit when you feel like shit when you're playing a fighting game, right? Like if you're just not having a good time, that first to 5 fucking sucks, dude. It does not feel good. You have a bad day in ranked, dude. My neighbors hear about it, you know what I mean? So like I think it's fair to realize that sometimes you really probably should kind of take a break and readjust what you're looking for, because honestly queuing just sucks, right? It's just not fun. It's not really productive either. I think if you're looking to improve, you know, what does that look like to you? Is that like getting a higher rank? Okay, well, if you want to get a higher rank, like what do you feel like you need to improve? And honestly, really what it comes down to is tangible progress. Get on that VOD review, bro. It sucks. I hate reviewing VODs because I feel like a buster. You see my inputs, let me tell you, they're bad. But like at least for me, that's like a starting point with any fighting game. I think I realize that like, you know, my inputs could be cleaner, my game plan could be a little bit better. But once you really start breaking it down, that helps with, you know, actually moving forward and sort of finding a level of joy even when you aren't winning, I guess the best way to put it. But what do you feel, Jonah?
Yeah, a lot of the what you said is pretty much is what I was going to say too. My big thing, this is something that I've dealt with a lot, is like just kind of like ask yourself like, what the fuck are you looking for? Like, why are you doing this, right? Because fighting games are like 99% passion. You really just needs like a drive to do it, or else like, why are you doing it? Are you playing fighting games for like the social scene because like that's your new social circle? Are you playing to like improve? Are you playing to like get a rank? Are you playing to like actually make money? You shouldn't be doing that. But you just gotta ask yourself like what your motivation is behind it and just do that. And it's not an easy thing to answer either. Like you could be thinking you're doing it for one reason, but in reality, you're doing it for a totally different reason. So really dig deep, take a break, just do something else. Yeah, like focus on a card game, watch some movies, but play a new character. Like just that's what I've been doing too. It didn't work out. Eventually, I circled back to Jin, but just play a new character. Kind of like expand your horizons a little bit. Don't like put yourself in like that little insular bubble or anything like that. Just like understand why you're losing. VOD review helps. But just like just like self-assess, and also don't fall into that pit trap of like, I'm losing because X thing is like so broken or whatever. I feel like a lot of people do that nowadays. Where like, this character's broken. I just need the devs to listen to me and change it. And like, yes, season 2 sucks for Tekken 8. I'm using Tekken 8 as an example, but like, season 2 sucks. But they're at the end of the day, like, the win or loss is largely in your ball court, in your court, whatever. So like, you have the control here. You have the agency. You're playing fighting games because of that. So if you're losing, there's clearly something you're doing wrong. If you're getting hop kicked, then do things that you don't make you get hop kicked. Like it's just simple as like that. But it's like a tough conversation with like the ego and the self. So yeah. Just long story short, just self-assess, take a break, and come back at it later.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I'm glad you covered like what your purpose is with fighting games, because like I completely missed the idea of like it being a social aspect. Because if it's just a social aspect, brother, keep playing Dengeki Bunko. You know, like fuck it, dude.
There's definitely there's people in our like our local scene that like they just play anything and everything just because they love fighting games, but also like it's their friend group. So like definitely take that into account. You might be that person, you just don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I think we nailed that one. The one of these asked the funniest clip you've seen from any fighting game stream. I don't really have a good way to pull it up, so I'm gonna do the really annoying thing and just describe it. It's the post money match tournament or not tournament post money match set after Chillin' Dude made a whole diss track for Leffen, only to get fucked super hard. And then the mic gets in his face, and all he has to say is "might be." That's the funniest shit in the world. And sometimes it's just you just gotta take it.
Is there really? Respect your elders. Chillin'. You have anything you want to say to the people?
Might be.
Dude,
That's the
dude
one.
is such a man for that. Like I couldn't.
Yeah,
I would just fucking.
Yeah, I couldn't. I'd blow my shit smooth on that stage. That'd be the last thing they remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jonah, if you, I know you had sent me a clip, and I wish I could play it, but you know, if you got a brief one, go ahead.
So besides the clip, the best one is the it's like a Street Fighter 4 set. It's like it's like peak like 09er energy. Like people are playing Street Fighter 4 and then in the background, these guys being like somebody's getting fucked.
Yeah, that's
and,
a
like,
classic.
hyping up.
I was thinking about that one.
Somebody's getting fucked. Get fucked. Somebody's getting fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Somebody's getting fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Get fucked. Somebody's getting fucked.
It's classic.
I feel like it embodies the culture of the scene really well, which is like shit talking, but like not just like fuck you, but like a culture of fuck you. You know what I mean? Like it's creative. It's like I said, it's like I don't know if fucking CS:GO players are making diss tracks. You know what I mean? Like it's just a different vibe, which I love. And like regardless of how that's changed over the years, I think it's a good example of like what I personally like about fighting games, but not just fighting games, but local scenes. You know what I mean? 'Cause that's where it's at.
Like what locals are like, I just show them that video. It's like it's just this.
Yeah.
They're just like that's fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's the best thing ever. It's so fucking.
It's
good.
the best thing in the world. So next question is why is Marie the best fighting game character ever? They asked a couple of questions, so I'm gonna fire off these. Marie is a really fun fighting game character. It's just fucked up that like you play her like that, Pixel, because I know this is you. Let me double check. Yeah, it is Pixel. It's fucked up you play her like that.
Wait,
and then
Marie,
you put
like the Lolly character from DOA or a different Marie?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Marie from Skullgirls, the Skullgirl.
Okay.
They added her at the very end. And Pixel plays Marie, which is set plays owner. And he also plays Robo Fortune, which is just his owner. And then sometimes if they really want you to feel miserable, they'll play Band or Sarabella. Sarabella at least feels better than when I'm getting zoned out. So I can't endorse it. We already shield Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I hate Marie. I play Umbrella, but do you prefer high or low damage for combos? For me, I kind of hate two touch, but at the very least with two touch, like your games are kind of over fast. You know what I mean? So like, I think I prefer high damage. I think if we're gonna put me in the blender, make it fast. You know what I mean? I don't want to sit here and watch a whole fucking cutscene. You know what I mean? What about you, Jonah?
It depends. There's a lot of factors. I think I want to say lower damage. Because for me, like, if I'm the one comboing, I love long combos. I love execution. That's a big, like, flex for me. So that's one thing. But also, like, it depends on, like, the effort that goes into it. Like, for example, in KOF 13, there's a character called Shenwu. Fucking awesome character. But this motherfucker has no way of, like, opening up an opponent outside of, like, bare bones fundamentals. But the moment he does, you're fucking dead. Like, it's so cool. So it's one of those things where, like, you work hard to like get the combo, and if you do, you're rewarded with like killing the character outright. But on the other hand, like it is fun to just like scrap and shit. So I want to say like lower end in combo.
Yeah, because you're about execution. I feel like that's definitely a little bit more. It's less unga, more like, intentional, right?
Yeah, for sure.
No, I get that.
Also,
And
like,
then
background combos didn't really do much. So
yeah, exactly. And I play, and so God hates me specifically. Let's see. In the last question, Pixel asks is, if you could remove one top tier from Marvel 3, who would it be?
Virgil.
I don't play Marvel, so yeah, Virgil, fuck it, let's go, let's kill that guy.
I love Virgil as a character. He's really cool. He's definitely my style, but like this motherfucker is everywhere. Just X Factor level 3. Like, no, just fuck it. Get rid of Virgil. The game's gonna be so much more interesting for it.
There you go. The next question is from White Tree. White Tree just asked, would or wouldn't? Wouldn't, I guess.
Just to be the opposite, I would say would. Sure. I don't know
There
what
you
we're
go.
woulding or wouldn't, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out one day. Okay, next question is from Lillard. Lillard, shout out Lillard. They're asking who's fresh and who's fat. Lillard, we're both fat. I don't know what to tell you there.
Fresh. I'm not fresh. I'll admit it. I'm fat. I'm not fresh though.
But yeah, we're both fat. But like, maybe Jonah will be fresh one day. We'll find out. I think Jonah's has a fresher style in the sense of like your personhood. You know what I mean? I feel like you do keep things interesting and fresh. So I guess both of us in a way. You know what I mean? I think we keep it interesting. We keep things
on this wonderful day.
Yeah, on this blessed day, absolutely. They ask also Horang and Jin, who's Semi and who's Ook? I don't play Tekken, so Jonah, go for it.
You know what? Just based on personality, I'm the Horang and you're the Jin. Because Horang's the guy that's like super aggressive and always wants to scrap, and Jin's just like, I'm doing something else. I'm chill. Leave me alone. Who's Semi and who's Uke? That's like a yaoi thing. I don't know. Are you the receiver or are you the giver, Rosero?
It's a fantastic question. So, the next question is from Triple T Kotu. They ask, when the next Kansas KO comes around, who is going to be sacrificed during the event? God willing, David.
Sure.
Really hoping David. Probably you, Kotu. I don't know. We'll see how the crew battle goes. You don't perform well, we're gonna put you on that big ass statue that they have in downtown.
Hell yeah.
They also ask, let's see. Can someone in the FGC wait, what the fuck, go to? Can be someone in the WFGC or not?
Oh, I guess it's like who can be sacrificed. Like it can be somebody at WHC or not. I'd still say David though.
It's still probably David, and Kotu if we can't find David. I thought the question was, can someone be a part of the WFGC or not? And I was going to say the Discord's open. It's anyone can be in there.
Just don't yeah, sure.
Next question, by Drawstick, they ask, I was wondering how much dedicated WAM does it take to run a server? That's not the interesting question. It's how much. It's how much it'll cost. All right, that's the real way. It's thousands of dollars to play Minecraft, and someone will pay. Someone will pay. Okay. Sajam, shouts out Sajam, asks the tried and true question, gay son thought daughter. We don't really have to, we can just say one and we don't have to explain it. I'm gonna say gay son. There you go. Make of that what you will.
Honestly,
Jonah, if you go for it.
So my reasoning, if your concerns are like, is my kid gonna be a slut? They're both gonna be sluts either way. Gay kids, gay men, super slutty. Daughter, it's in the name. So whatever. I'm not gonna judge. I love my kid. Just 50-50, whatever I roll, whatever. I guess I'll just pick Thought Daughter to be the opposite, but I really don't care. Either one's fine.
Yeah, I'm down with either. Whichever one's gonna like. It's like that Young Miles song. It's like I'll love my kid no matter what, but I won't love my kid if they don't got bands. And that's kind of where I'm at. Next question by Anonymous, which we'll just keep calling David. David asks, will Oversoul ever play neutral?
Will I ever play neutral? That's a work in progress. That's like being more defensive and like not as aggressive has been like my latest project in fighting games. So to be determined.
Can I call to defend Virgil? Okay, you know what? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that after we get through the questions. I'll be down for that. Okay, let's see. Next question by Anonymous. Can Oversoul? Oh, thank you. Next question is: can Oversoul revert to his Haseo EX form at will by shaving his face?
Yes, I'll probably have to lose a good amount of weight too, but definitely possible.
Okay. See, there we go. Next question, also by Anonymous. They ask, who would win in a hater off, Oversoul or Francis Left 4 Dead? Have you played Left 4 Dead?
I've never played Left 4 Dead, so I don't know.
See, the thing is, dear viewer, who asked this question, if you're out there, Oversoul isn't a hater. I think we've covered that today. I think Oversoul loves the things he loves. Yeah, probably Oversoul. I'm still gonna say Oversoul. Next question by Anonymous. They ask, will y'all stream Sven co-op? Yeah, we'll just do that right now. We'll just play Sven co-op. Well, I'll voice act it too if you want. Let's see. Next question is, what makes Melvin feel good to you in a fighting game? Versatility. I think if like characters have a consistent way of like changing up what makes them interesting, as far as like how they get in, I think that's cool. I mean, I think having a technical way to get in is inherently interesting. Like if everyone super dashes, like who gives a shit? You know what I mean? That's not very interesting. What about you, Jonah?
Yeah, versatility and also like skill expression. Like Tekken was when I got like really big into Tekken, it was really eye-opening to kind of see that like a lot of pro play is just run up, backdash, backdash, and then run up, and then kind of do that. And like on a surface level, it looks silly, but once you understand like the intricacies of Tekken, of like they're running up, they're threatening these options, they're backdashing, they're looking for these options, they're spacing themselves specifically to play around this button and this thing. Like it's so beautiful and elegant in my opinion. Like just watching good players do good movement. Movement's like something that's like super deceptive too, because like it looks easy, it looks simple, it seems easy, but like in practice, it's very hard and there's a lot of intention behind it. So yeah, skill expression is definitely like my biggest thing. But yeah, again, like variability. Like it's nice to see good movement to like negate certain options when otherwise like 2D fighting games, for example, you don't really have a lot of good movement. So it's just like move in, do your thing, yada yada. But things like Tekken where you can sidestep and do all this other stuff, it just completely negates things that you would already expect are like infallible. So yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I think movement. I think what makes it different for me is if it requires the same amount of skill as actually playing the game. I think the one that comes to mind is Melee, right? Melee.
Yeah, like learning Melee is insane.
Movement in Melee is more important than the fucking character you play. Yeah, and so I think that's probably the best way I can describe what I like about movement. Skullgirls feels great. Yeah, play Skullgirls. Sure. Our last question is from Chronosaki. Shouts out Chronosaki. They ask, are there any fighting games that you would like to see get a modern re-release or finally get rollback? Jonah, go for it.
Rollback. Give me rollback on tech. I actually don't know. I'm pretty sure it does have it now. I'm just fucking bad and I don't play my game. I was gonna say BlazBlue Continuum Shift, but I'm pretty sure they got a rollback patch. Next one is KOF 13. They've re-released it like 2 times. It's still fucking ass. Give it like a proper rollback patch, please, for the love of God. And And then like Tekken Dark Resurrection, give that a rollback patch as well. That's been one of my favorite Tekkens. It's one of the first ones I got like really really into as well. But yeah, those would be like my top 3.
Oh yeah. For me, I would say there's two. There's two that come to mind, and if you know, you know. JoJo All-Star Battle. I wish that game was better.
Yeah.
I wish that game was better. If it had,
he was such a fiend for that game.
It's such a fun game, dude. I put so much time into All-Star Battle that when they announced that they were going to do it again, I was like, okay. And then I installed it day one. That code was so dog shit that I refunded it instantly. I said, no, I'm a weeb, but you will not get me. I think the other one is fucking play Heritage for the Future on PC. Fuck it. Yeah, let me play Heritage for the Future. I know like you can do Fightcade, but like Shadow King won't. And I want to play him.
One of these days, one of us will break into his house, install it, and then just like have it set up for him. Because
Shadow King, if you're listening, I will remote into your computer and do it for you. I see. White Stream, you too. I know you also have problems with it. I will do it for the both of you. I don't
to
care.
Be fair, White Tree's got it set up. We've played Third Strike on fucking arcade or whatever like before, so he's good. But Shadow King is just he doesn't get it.
Yeah. Okay. But and then I think the one that I want that's fucked up, Scrumby, if you're listening, is Sonic the Fighters. Sonic the Fighters. I love playing it on PS3. I love playing that game. It's so much fun. It has such a fantastic Sega feel to it that I really wish that game would see re-release. It never will. Sega hates anything that is like pre-2006. So that'll never happen. But yeah, those are mine. Which I hate to, I'm just getting in. We have actually a surprise guest joining us. It is a Junior. Junior has some things to say about Virgil. So I'm gonna patch him through real quick. Junior, you had some opinions. You wanted to defend Virgil against the evil man Oversol. Let's hear it.
Yeah, okay. I have to set the record straight. This is a game that I've been playing for God knows how long, and there seems to be a lot of All right, first let me set the stage. There is two different kinds of Virgil players. There's those who play the anchor with level 3 and X Factor. I understand that. Let me break that down real quick. Okay. Let's say you're playing and you know that he has a threat of Virgil in the back. A reasonable man will snap in Virgil because Virgil does not have any defensive options aside of Helmbreaker. That's his only option. So what you do is you snap in and you kill his ass. It's balanced. You kill him before he starts going. The way I see it is if you can't do that, then you deserve everything that's coming towards you.
Interesting. Okay, now let me ask you the question as a man who actually does play Marvel 3. Who would you get rid of?
Oh, Zero, easy.
Zero. Okay, and I had a feeling. Yeah, I had a feeling.
Four-way mix-up. He has a four-way mix-up. He has a Buster Shot that is an easy confirm in the game. It will always guarantee to a 3,000% combo. If he fucks up his first mix-up, he gets another one on top of that. How the fuck do you get that? Zainembu lets you get a high-low unblockable mix-up on block. What the fuck? For 1 bar!
For 1 bar. Okay, yeah, and I kind of had a feeling that might have been your answer. Okay, but you feel like the game's balanced. You feel like there's options, right?
Like, as much as bullshit as Marvel 3 does have, it finds a very weird way to balance itself with how the power dynamics of each character works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Virgil is a very big anchor comeback character with a huge X Factor component to him. Morgan is a very neutral, like, point dominant character. So is Zero. But one is playing Rushdown, the other one's playing Control. Magneto is basically a movement demon. Basically the movement paradise of the game. But all of them have a weird counterplay to their strategy. which another team counters. My only gripe with the game is that some low tiers don't really get the China Day unless you make your team around them. That's my only gripe with the game. But
Damn.
let's talk about the real Virgil players, like me, which play Virgil Point. Virgil Point does not get the love and credit it deserves because it is hard to play Virgil Point. I don't care what Z says after this. It is not easy. It actually requires work. It requires execution. It requires finesse. It requires, I dare say, a big fucking brain.
Bro, but you could just round trip. You could just like round trip air trick and then boom, you just get a helm breaker and just take the game away.
Like, dude, is that not big brain?
All right.
It's like charging Buster Shot on 0 and like getting the hit confirmed. Come on.
But like, dude, it's a block stream. It's a strategy. Like, I had to spend meters.
Okay.
I made my case. Like,
all right. Well, thank you, Junior.
You guys hate him,
thank
but
you for
there's
stating.
Thank you.
No,
Okay.
You know,
all right. Play Marvel 3.
Right. 0 just does what you're like cheaper.
There you go.
Thank you. Love you.
All right.
Bye. Love you.
And there he goes. All right. Well, shout out to Junior. I appreciate you tuning in, chiming in. Yeah, Young Buck on the street, keeping the block hot. All right. Well, Jonah, I think that's it. I think we did everything we set out to do. I hope the people out there have a better idea of who you are as not just an instigator, but as a man with a soul. And Jonah, do you have any final words to the people?
Mexican food sucks. Fuck you. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know. No, like I'm glad we did this. Glad people got to at least see that like it's not rage bait. I'm just like a genuine person, even though apparently I just have opinions that like nobody else has, which blows my mind still. But it's just something that I've learned to accept over my adult life. But yeah, no, I love this community. I love y'all. Says, I know I hate Jonah even more. Yeah, for real. Fair enough.
I want to give one last shout out to David. David, I know let me get real for a second. David, I know we shit on you because, well, I don't really have to explain. I think anyone in the Discord knows.
Yeah.
But David, I appreciate you. You've been to 11 crossovers in the last year. You placed top 4, top 5, Street Fighter. No, I think you placed second place. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't know about the other folks. I know I'm mostly just a traveler myself. But I love what you bring to the scene. I hope Alex is everything you want and more. And yeah, you know what? Shouts out David. I will never do this again, but shouts out David.